Thank you once again for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. Hope you all are doing fantastic out there in Cougar Nation, having a great week. And it's been a fun week, honestly. Football is in full swing. I am absolutely having the time of my life. Many of you know that I've got a jam-packed schedule, but truthfully, it is the best time of the year. Now that football is on the horizon, we got NFL preseason action. BYU is going to be underway in just over 3 weeks' time, 22 days away from today. It's BYU in Portland State, and I, for one, cannot wait to be back out there at LaVell Edwards Stadium watching the Cougars under the lights. But one guy that you may see on the sidelines this upcoming season wears the number 84. Now, as I mentioned right before we talked about our friends at FanDuel, I mentioned that Kenny Cox came over to me at BYU Photo Day and said, hey, there's a young man here who would like to be interviewed. Would you be willing to do it? And I said, sure, why not? Let's do it. So I got a chance to get to know Kila Keone, and he is a freshman wide receiver for the BYU football program, a walk-on with this football program. And I'm just going to say, as I also alluded to, I'm not going to lie, I had zero knowledge of who this young man was, what his background was, and how in the world he got to Brigham Young University. But I will just say this before we hit this interview. If you don't come away as impressed with this young man as I was, I'll be very, very surprised. So without further ado, let's get to know Kila Keone. How'd you get to BYU in the first place?
So coming out of high school, going into my senior year, I had 2 D3 offers.
Okay.
And then I had, I guess you could say, a lackluster senior year. Just the team couldn't come together. Mm-hmm. But after that, I just tried my best to get my name out there, especially coming from Hawaii. It's so hard. So me and my brother worked really hard to, I guess, put my name out there on X and Twitter and stuff like that. And so offers started to roll in. I got some FCS offers, and then actually, my journey to BYU is, I guess you could say, very difficult.
Okay.
I reached out as much as I could because this is my dream place to go, but they never responded. Okay. And so what I did was I actually texted some of the players to put my name in and try to get my name into the facility, and it did, and it worked. So Coach Fessy called me on February 26th, and he offered me a spot. So that's kind of how things worked.
Okay, so who are the players you knew? Who hooked you up?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that information, but there's a lot of people here too that helped me out.
Sure. Now, when you had that conversation with Fessy, what was it like, and what did he tell you?
So basically, he kind of told me that they're full for the 2024 year, which is the year I graduated. So, but he gave me an opportunity because I was younger. I played my senior year at 16. So he offered me, I guess, an option of gray shirting in the fall, just so I can get a little bit older, and which I completely agreed with, and I was excited for that. So I gray shirted in the fall, and then he said that he'll give me a shot in spring ball, and then he'll let me know if I make it to fall camp or not, and we're here today. So
that's awesome. Okay, so you graduated high school at 16 years old?
I graduated at 17, played my senior year at 16.
Okay, but how did you get so far ahead in high school and everything?
I think it just came with, I'd say, just always, that adversity was always there.
Okay.
Ever since I was in 3rd grade when I first started playing tackle football, I've always played against kids older than me.
Got it.
I remember my 7th grade year, I played varsity for our pylon team and 7-on-7 teams. And I remember my 8th grade year, I'd actually practice with varsity because middle school we'd only practice 3 times a week, and so I kind of wanted more work, so I'd practice with the big boys. But yeah, I think it just came from always surrounding myself with older boys, just so I can always, I guess, see how I can compete with them.
Okay, so as a wide receiver, where do you feel like you set yourself apart?
I would say I'm very aggressive at the catching point. And one thing that they do love about me, and a lot of other schools liked about me, was that I was very aggressive at coming back towards the ball and just making big plays, really. Another thing, too, is I feel like film-wise, coverage recognition-wise, and just knowing the playbook, I feel like I am excelled at that, if that makes sense. But, yeah, pretty much just wide receiver is such a fun position. You just make plays, and I feel like I just love doing that. So
it's a fairly veteran unit, guys like Chase Roberts, JoJo Phillips around this. How have they helped you in your transition?
They've helped me tremendously. One of the big guys that actually helped me a lot when I first got here was Keelan Marion.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he helped me a lot during that spring semester, kind of putting me in. We have other guys like Dom that would help me with the playbook and stuff like that. But the entire room really helped me settle in. Helped me and LeMason settle in because we came in at the same time. Yeah. And so they were really there for us during the spring.
You said BYU was your dream school. Why?
I'd say the biggest thing for me is I came here in 2017 when I was in 5th grade.
Okay.
And just seeing just the atmosphere, it was awesome. But as I grew older, and I'm a convert to the member of Church of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got baptized when I was 10, but just seeing the people around here, it made me really want to come here just so I can grow my own personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And I felt like it was just such a safe environment to do so. And I feel like coming to Brigham Young would push me almost to, I guess, learn more about the gospel and things like that. And other than that, like Big 12, great football team. Coach Kalani is probably like the best coach I've ever played for. I'm so grateful to be here. So that all added to it. And I think last thing was just environment. Knowing that my family would know that I was safe being here, especially in other schools, like places where I guess it's not so safe. Being in Provo is really good for them and gives them security knowing that I'm okay.
Last thing for me on as you look forward here, obviously you're a young player, so you're trying to work your way up the depth chart. What personal goals you want to accomplish this season?
Personal goal for me right now is to just play with confidence, especially with learning like the new playbook. You can kind of feel like a headless chicken out there, but I've actually gotten a lot better at that since spring ball. And so now my goal is to just play with confidence and get better every day, really. Get better every day and do my best to contribute to the team. Because now that I'm here, really is like, I guess, contributing to the team and contributing to the culture. And I know that my part is small, but my part is important. And so I'm going to do my best to be the best player I can be.
That, my friends, is a man or a young man who is wise beyond his years. He is 17, 18 years old, and he speaks as if he's a guy who's twice his age, around my age. It's absolutely incredible to have gotten to know Kila Keone. And I will just say this. I am rooting for this kid. The fact that he essentially spammed his way, and spam sounds negative, but the fact that he worked every angle he possibly could because he believed A, in himself as a football player, and B, wanted so badly to be a part of the BYU football program that he worked, like I said, every angle to get to Provo, and then got no guarantee that he was even going to be on the team. He got a chance to work out in spring with the BYU wide receivers under Kalani Sitake, and then, as he mentioned, now I'm here. That's awesome. And by the way, you can't teach the fact that he's 6'4", he's long, he's lean, and I don't know what the future holds for this young man, but I don't care what he decides to do in life. That is a young man who's got a very, very bright head on his shoulders. And if football doesn't work out, there are going to be doors open for young Kila Keone in multiple other sectors. I'll just say that. And I really had a great time interviewing him. I walked over to Kenny after the interview and said, did you know, like, were you trying to set me up for this? And he said, no, he said he wanted to talk to somebody about BYU football. He's always wanted an opportunity to get interviewed. And I said, well, guess what? That kid can talk with me anytime he wants to. So Kila Keone, I don't know if you're even going to watch this and or hear about it, but thank you for carving out some time to talk with myself. And you got a new fan in Jake Hatch. And I hope that many other Cougar fans out there watching this podcast or listening to it come away as impressed as I was. All right, coming up in just a minute, we're going to finish up today's show with what you want to talk about. We throw it out to our Locked On Cougars Insider Group members every single week to weigh in with their questions. We open the mailbag and we'll address as many, if not all of them, in the time remaining right here on the Locked On Cougars podcast.